Hello everyone, and welcome back to the glorious world of SingleQuest. Now, there's been a lot of changes here in my house, and in the world actually. So, today's episode is going to be me explaining a lot of things. Like, this is a crystal chest. As you can see, I've gotten a lot of wisps, a lot of different music discs. Let's put in number 4 here. Now, we kind of know how to do these things, and I'm not going to dwell too much on recipes. So I'm going to try to show the new things that I've built with Thaumcraft and try to explain how they work. Now to begin with, I should probably put on my glasses of revealing and show you that I've actually edited my world. Yep, I had to go into the class files, and it turned out all that took was Notepad. Change a few things, and all of a sudden aura nodes now spawn in my world, which means my infernal furnace works for one thing. So if I want to, I can, I don't know, head down here, throw some cobble into the furnace, and it'll smelt it automatically for me. Now you're going to see the Vs going down in the area, and that is the one thing that I really want to demonstrate here. Because before, there was no consequence to any of my thematic actions. But now, it does chuck flux into the nodes, creates wisps, and I actually took it a little bit step further. Let's take off the glasses for a sec. There we go. Now, if nodes create wisps, and wisps cannot travel through solid blocks, then this, my friends, is a wisp harvester. Now, it doesn't do anything right now. Now it's just a glass cage. But if I walk in, I can just beat the pieces off of wisps. And there's nothing they can do about it. They will just stay in the corners, and, I mean, wisps aren't something you harvest for experience or items. They're more like a novelty, aren't they? But for right now, I'd like to collect them. There's some rarer ones like acid variety and control variety, but it's all based on whatever you've thrown out. This one, yeah, has some control in it. Now it's time to explain some golems, because, oh, I love them. Now, I didn't realize this at first, but you need to right-click with your golem on whatever chest or crucible or area they're going to be tied to. This is probably one of the later ones you're going to make, a tallow golem. You make him with tallow. Like I said, I'm not going to show the recipes, but basically you give him a bucket, and whenever you do magical things, he'll keep this filled for you. You can also do something with glass files and warded jars, like you saw inside my house. How I've got, like, this stuff stored in here. He could probably take things from the alembic and fill those up too if I used marker blocks to show him where to go. But let's just go straight to golems. Now the first one in the list is the wood golem. Here I have a perceptive one. See, you can't do anything when he right-clicks, but he's pretty cute anyway, with the little blue eyes. Basically, he can see twice the length of stuff than he usually could. So if I just break a carrot, he could probably go pick that up and put it in whatever chest I told him to go to. If I gave him a speedy core, he'd be a little faster. If I gave him a strength core, he could pick up twice the amount of stuff he normally could, which would be like 32 instead of 16 at a time. Let's go over to the stone golem now. Now, stone golems, when you put them on a chest, they'll take everything from one chest and put it in whatever chest you've marked off. So in this case, he goes through the little golem access hatch and puts it into this one. There's a marker block under this chest telling him, put everything in here. So whatever the wood golem puts in his chest, the stone golem puts in my house. And you can see on his chest, there's a little color thing. If I toggle this switch, he'll look for different marker blocks. So right now he's looking for the brown one under the chest in my house. Now because he's an intelligent golem, that's where these things come into play. For example, if I told him just pick up this kind of wispy essence, he would leave everything in the chest now. If I told him just to pick up seeds, he'd just take the seeds and leave everything else there. But generally, stone golems are good for moving everything from one place to another. And I suppose if you use different marker blocks, you could make him move it into multiple chests. Anyway, let's move on. The next golem that we're going to look at is the clay golem. Now what they do is they're good at keeping specific things in specific chests. He's a brainy one, so I can tell him to take more things or not. But basically, what he does is I've told him to keep 3 glass in this chest at all times. And there's marker blocks down here. There's one, a black one. which will tell him to look in that chest for more glass, if ever it should go down below the amount he knows should be in this chest. So if I take this 3 out, and he'll just run downstairs while I craft these into bottles. See, it's easy for me. A few clicks and bam. I'll put these back in, and as you saw, he put the glass back in the chest. Lovely little friend. He used to be more useful because I wanted him to keep potion ingredients like 2 redstone and 2 glowstone dust in here at all times, so I could always just do potions easily. But the thing with golems is they don't understand a crystal chest. So now that I've upgraded and I've got my redstone and my glowstone and my golden nuggets in these things, because obviously they're massive, the inventory they have, and they look really cool too. Now he's just a little bit more obsolete, but you can kind of see why he'd be useful. If you want to use a lot of items at a time, but you only want a certain amount, you know, marker blocks, and ta-da! Now down working in my field is a straw golem. And the important thing to remember about the straw golem is that even though there's different animation cores, really the brainy one is probably the only one you want to have. Because while the other ones would make him maybe speedier or stronger, I'm not really sure how stronger would work. The thing is with the brainy one, he will replant the seeds after he breaks a crop. So while straw golems do destroy things and leave them lying on the ground, he'll actually put it back. So it'll just keep growing again. So this is one quick little system I've done with golems to give myself an automated farm. Now as you can see, every once in a while, maybe he misses replanting them, like 2 or 3 out of 100 times isn't bad. Come on. So once the straw golem sees something has grown, and he works, yep, there we go. He works with all the vanilla crops. Wheat, carrots, potatoes, reeds, melons, pumpkins. He's perfect at it. Even cocoa beans. I don't know about cactus, though, because cactus might hurt him. I don't want to risk it. So he breaks things, and what I've got is the wood golem putting in these chests, then the stone golem puts it in my house, a little bit closer. So this is one way you could use golems, like I've done, to have a perfectly automated farm right outside your house. Now there's probably a ton of other stuff you're wondering about. For one thing, when it comes to flux, although you can use the alembics to lessen the amount you make every time you make something thematic, the thing is the flux that's already there, I don't think there's really a way to take it down. And your aura's always going to go down. You see how it's out of 460? Well, it needs to borrow stuff from the other aura nodes around it. So there's one deep in that cave that's now giving this aura to make up for it. But you see, these ones have a set amount too. So eventually it'll all go down around your base, wherever that might be, and then it gets more and more dangerous. And I think technically it would also eventually bottom out to a certain degree, wouldn't it? I never really experienced that, but you can imagine it's possible. So here's what I've been doing to counteract that. I call it Project Mount Silver. Yeah, I've named it after Pokemon. Don't judge me. I think that's pretty cool. Thing is, let's kill this guy. I could make him, well again, but not now. I don't have the time. I'm trying to explain things. Silverwood trees. Yes, they're rare spawns. And even then, even when you have a full silverwood tree, good luck trying to get the saplings from it, because I've cut down full trees and not gotten a single sapling. But then on big ones, maybe they've dropped 2. So it's pretty rare. And in all my experimentation, the fortune enchantment does nothing to their leaves to give you a sapling or not. But the thing is, when silverwood trees grow, and they do take a little bit of vis to grow, so this one over here, there was a node way under the ground that probably helped it grow. Thing is, when they grow naturally, and when you grow them yourself, like this, they will spawn a small aura node somewhere in their trunk, most likely near the bottom, like the second block. So this node right here is the result of about 4 trees. These 3 here, and then 1 before that. So when they spawn normally, they're only about between 50 and 80 vis big, so they're very small. I started growing them over there originally to try and help the big one, but I don't think that helped whatsoever. They did gravitate towards the big one because that began as like a 300 vis node, and now it's 460, so you can see how it's gotten bigger, but still, It's struggling a lot to keep up with its power level. Thing is, since it drains power from the surrounding environment, I believe Mount Silver project is, well, me making nodes all along the mountain so that when this needs energy, it'll draw it from the new nodes that I've made. That still doesn't help with the flux. I don't think there really is a way to deal with flux that's been already in your nodes, other than, like, moving. And I don't want to do that. Now, the thing with wisps is that there's really only 3 I've noticed that are straight up hostile. The other ones, all of them pretty much, just kind of float around on their own until you attack them. They're quite dangerous, actually. They deal about 1.5 hearts of damage, even when you're in diamond armor. I'm not sure what that means, because it doesn't seem that different when you're in other armor. So maybe they've just got armor-penetrating attacks. There we go. A lot more. Oh, that's one I didn't have before. You are of air. Okay, cool. Wisps, man. The dangerous, hostile ones are the ones with malice in them, fire, and, oh yeah, pure chaos. That's the most common one. You saw how I had like 18 of those. Yeah, the chaos aspect is not that difficult to get if you can kill wisps. You might need a bow. You might need the Rod of Lightning. I've been using that a fair often. Now then, let's show off some more things that I've built, just to show you guys what you can do with them. And right now I'm testing the Rainmaker from Forestry, and it worked. Ridiculous. It took ages to get this thing to function right. I didn't realize you actually needed a steam engine to run a Rainmaker. All I wanted to do was make water capsules, and I don't even know what the water capsules are for. Huh. I think it's for a fermenter. I don't know. Anyway. Yes, Hungry Chest is eating up everything that falls into here from the furnace, you see? And the experience that comes out of the furnace is getting drawn into the brain in a jar, so I can right-click on it and I get the experience stored. So while I've got my automated farm going with golems, and while I've got the smelting process going over here, I can come down and get the levels and like I didn't miss them. Alright, now let's go see some of the other things I've made. You might have noticed I put in a fountain. A nice, pretty fountain. And you might wonder what that thing is over there. That's the arcane ear. How this works is I've tuned them both to the same specific note. So if I punch this block a bunch, it makes a redstone signal, which will turn on my fountain or turn it off. Now I do have to punch it a few times just so the signal goes through, because just once isn't enough. It would be so small a burst that the dispensers wouldn't understand what to do. See? So you do have to punch it a bit, is how I've got this working. Even if I had a pressure plate here, it wouldn't work exactly right, just for that reason. But you can imagine what you could do with this. This basically means I removed the entire redstone circuit I had here before, because now it's technically wireless. A wireless redstone signal, thanks to the arcane ear. That's pretty awesome. Now the next thing we've got here is the levitator. Now, when it says it levitates you 10 blocks, you don't realize that actually 10 blocks is this high. Like, this is pretty cool. I know it's a bit of a novelty, but I really wanted to test out everything that I could make in Thaumcraft. And so, you know, here's this video. Lol. Okay, next thing. Because the levitators, if I made some more and put them on top of each other, they'd raise you like 20 or 30 blocks in the air. But by then, you know, fall damage might be an issue. I can also use this. If I had hit that right, I wouldn't have taken damage. But again, bit of a novelty way to get up to my second floor. Here's an even more novel way to get down. The portable hole. Yes. Now you might be thinking, wow, how does this thing work? Do you put it on a wall? Do you not? Well, I'm going to show you right now how it works, because it takes up about 6 ender pearls to make, since the eldritch element that you need to make them can only be found in ender pearls. Anyway, I'm going to show you right now how this thing works. So you go to a place like, say, over here where you know there might be a cave, or there already is a cave. And you just right-click with it. And if there's enough charge, it'll work. I could jump back up, but it'll just fill itself back in a few seconds. Now, as you can see, my portable hole is perfect. It does take some charge from the Vs to use it. And basically what that means is there is a limit. I can't poof myself back to bedrock automatically, right? I can make some pretty lengthy holes. And it goes back to normal as if it was never there in the first place. Pretty amazing. I'm not totally sure what to do with it, but I do know if I wanted to make pipes in the ground, like from here to here, I could easily just right-click this to know where I was going ahead of time. Or just to travel around my base. It might be easy to just put a hole in and then just walk through a wall. Now, one of the problems, not really a problem, I guess it's a feature specifically, is that other items can travel through it too. So if I was here and I just wanted to, like, you know, toss a pickaxe through the wall or port everything in this farm, like, downwards, because while the tilled ground would remain, all the crops wouldn't. They'd fall through, because they're technically items. Oh yeah, I've also accidentally put my cat into the tunnel network. Hi, kitty. That's gonna be a problem. Sometimes it causes lag depending on how far you go. Oh, yeah, this is another problem. Oh, kitty. Yeah, if you're in the blocks when they reform, you will suffocate, so keep that in mind when you're using your portable hole. It can be a bit dangerous in that respect. You do not want to trap yourself in the ground. You also, you know, don't want to trap your cats, or your straw golems, or your crops, or things like that. But if you would just want to just walk through walls, I guess it works. You know what? I'm going to go probably use this on one of the mazes in the Twilight Forest. That would be pretty cool. Just, oh yeah, I'll just go through the unbreakable wall. Not a problem. I don't know if it could work on bedrock. It probably could, but then you'd fall straight to the void, and who wants that, right? So there's still a few things I need to explain on my home, my lovely, lovely base, which I love very much. Did I say that already? Because these purple blocks here, they're resistant to explosions, so if anything else happens in my ramshackle house, it will probably be fine. But I like it. It's got character, right? It survived that house fire. It's got a massive naga around it. It's got these smoking blocks, which I got from the Twilight Forest's fire swamp, right before I realized I was really near the Hydra den and had to get the heck out of there before I let that thing spawn, because there's no way I can fight a Hydra just yet. But you know what? I think I am going to go back in soon and fight a Lich, because I think I could do that. That doesn't sound that bad. Now, as you can see, I'm trying to grow, like, one of every tree. And greatwood trees are surprisingly easy to grow compared to silverwood. I'm surprised those have grown all already. But again, as long as you've got patience in this game, you can pretty much make anything. Oh, one last thing I should really show you is... Yeah, let's just fall on the ground. That's a great Fwipp, isn't it? Alright. Beekeeping is so lengthy. I'm going to need to explain that in the next video. But one little thing I can explain, because I don't really understand how they work, are the forestry machines that they use. So I got my thermionic fabricator here. I got my centrifuge. I got the squeezer. Now what I've been doing with the squeezer is, it basically takes a ton of seeds and it makes seed oil. What do you use seed oil for? I don't know. But the centrifuge and the thermionic fabricator, and probably some other stuff I should have in this machine room, I'm going to explain in the next episode. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope this helped you understand how golems and the arcane ear and even wisps can be really cool things in the world of Single Quest. It might not be fighting a dragon, but it still is pretty damn fun. Oh, and one last thing. This is a soul shard. As you can see, it's got a little number called 931. Basically, if I can kill 131 more creepers, because I chose to do this one with creepers, this soul shard can be placed in one of those little metal cubes that I made with 8 iron bars. You saw it sitting there doing nothing. Basically, you take the soul shard. It'll be tier 1. I put that in there, and I will have my very own creeper spawner. Why is that good? I plan to make a record farm. Why is that bad? Because I still need to kill 131 more creepers. So, well, Soul shards are easy to make. You take 1 diamond, 1 glowstone, and 1 soul sand, all in your inventory, and bam, you've got one of these. So I would recommend making one of those, and just carrying it with you forever. So whatever mob you want to kill, you're not specifically going around killing them, but when you do kill them, you can just make your own spawners eventually. I mean, you probably could just siphon some energy from other spawners if you needed to. But like this, you know, you can't have a creeper spawner in the world, so I'm trying to make my own. Alright, better cut it here. Thanks for watching, guys, and yes, these guys here were all zombie villagers at one point. I converted them all, and I'm very happy, and maybe I'm going to explain how the proven frames work in a bit. So see you next time.